Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about these lenses, really get into it, why I ended up choosing these lenses, and how that brought some simplicity throughout my three cameras. Let's get into it. So as I said in the past, for me, buying a new kit basically of lenses always became expensive because now I'm buying lenses for a specific body, whether it was Sony, whether it was Blackmagic, Canon, whatever. I had lenses from different manufacturers, but when you change those bodies, you now are stuck with these family of lenses. And for me, that was just not cost effective. So I would say about a year ago, 2 years ago, I started just investing in PL lenses. For me, it just works best, especially for more of that production shoot. Now, don't get me wrong, some of these stock lenses from Sony are really, really nice lenses. You've got the autofocus, and that's all wonderful. But what I really wanted to do was just get a set of lenses that I liked. I do use two PL zoom lenses that were made from Tokina. I ended up buying those a while back, and they've been fantastic as zoom lenses, and they cover the ranges. The range was 16 to 28, and then I had the 50 to 135, and I did have a 35 PL that I was using just to kind of hold me off in between. I actually fell in love with that 35 millimeter, but these were all cropped lenses for 35 millimeter sensors. And now I have the Pyxis. I've been using the FX3 for a long time, all full frame. So I was getting that vignetting and not the full coverage from those lenses. It's a great lens for an Ursa or any 35 millimeter sensor would do amazingly well with these lenses. But I wanted to get some full frame lenses, and I ended up going with the DZO Film Prime lenses, and I went with the Vespid Primes, and specifically with a 25, 35, 75, and a 125. The 25 was great. It did all it needed to do as far as giving me enough of a wide feel that I really like without having distortions. These lenses are great. I mean, for the price, they've been great. I actually got lucky over Black Friday. I ended up getting these for about $8.99 per lens. They're typically over $1,000, $1,200 a lens new, 13 in some cases, and I ended up getting them for that $899 price, which I was happy about and jumped on top of that. Again, what I like about these lenses is they're clean but have a little bit of character, which I like. Character I can always add in post. It's hard to take that away. I do have some vintage lenses which are really great, but I don't want to have that in camera all the time. Now, again, coming from the Pyxis and the FX3, these lenses look fantastic. As far as ND filters, it's fairly easy to get an ND filter on here, variable ND. I know some people don't really love it, but in a pinch, it's a great way to just have NDs on there, and it's a 77 millimeter across the board. These lenses, way similar. Some are a little bit heavier than others. The 75 is pretty heavy. The 35 and the 25, they're almost identical as far as size goes. It's a little bit of a difference, and you can see those in the view here. But as far as matching these up with your follow focus system, it's not going to be an issue. These are great lenses. I couldn't recommend them more. And I'll obviously show some footage as we go here just so you can see what's what. But again, for the price, for the value, I think they did a great job with these lenses. And takes me a long time to make decisions to pull a trigger on a lens, especially the cinema lenses, because you have to think about the weight of them as well in comparison to the size of the body. These zoom lenses that I had were really, really kind of wide, and they're great, and they fit like the Ursa body really nice. If you have a much bigger body camera, I think they balance it out extremely well. They're not that heavy, but they are fairly large, and they require 115 matte box to fit or filter to fit. Luckily with the Ursa, I have ND, so it's not a big deal. If I have to put a matte box, I did get a 115 matte box. For this, you can use any of the Tilta matte boxes, your kind of screw-on matte boxes, so you don't need to put them on rails. They pretty much fit on every matte box that's out there now, and you can make them fit. So in that sense, I just need to carry one thing. For me, it's perfect. I can use these lenses across all my 3 cameras, pack them up as a kit, and not worry about them. The look is exactly identical throughout. You know, they're tried and tested. As far as any other lenses that I've been looking at, I did start kind of looking at some of the anamorphics. I tried and tested some a while back. To be honest with you, it's, you know, again, it's an imperfect look, which is really nice, right? There's certain things about those lenses that are great, but I didn't want to have to be, you know, stuck with that look in camera and not be able to kind of get away with it and be stuck with that look. I really want lenses that are fairly neutral with a little bit of character, and I think these will do a great job doing that. You can buy these used pretty much on eBay or other places. There's not a ton of them out there, and if they are, people are asking for, you know, 8+. I found 1 or 2 that were in that, you know, upper 700 range. But if I go into B&H, we go into Vespid. They had a deal also, a holiday deal at some point. Let's take a look. So you can get bundle 7 lenses, version 2 Vespid Primes at $51.99. Most of the lenses are $7.99. You can get the 35 for $7.99, $600 saving on B&H, $7.99 for the 50. Same for the 21. For the 40 mil, and the 90 millimeter T2.8 is $8.99. And then we've got the 75, which is also $7.99. The 12 millimeter 2.8 is $1,199. You can save $600 on that. And then you got smaller bundles going anywhere from $3,999. But again, if you're going for the one lens, or if you have a few and you want to start building this out, these lenses are fantastic. Again, the $7.99 goes for the 25, and the 16 is $9.99. So, you know, prices kind of definitely went down on these, which is good. $7.99 for the 125 as well. If I'm using an interview, I would say I would probably use the 35 and the 75, and then the 25 and the 125 are going to be kind of like my outside lenses that I use for different scenarios. But my main kind of, you know, subject-oriented lenses are going to be 35 and 75. But again, you know, I think they're a great deal for these lenses. I couldn't say much more about them. They're pretty nice and worthwhile. And I'll show you what they look like kind of set up on my cameras. Again, even if you have a 35 mil sensor, you can still use these. Obviously, it's going to punch up. The one good thing about using it on the FX3 or actually the Pyxis is as you get into more of that crop sensor, you're going to get a lot more reach. So I always look at lenses and see what the possibilities are when, let's say, I'm going from open gate to like a 4K. If I can punch in on the Pyxis and on the FX3, you're obviously shooting in 4K, but you could kind of zoom in a little bit, so you're going to get a lot more reach with some of these lenses. So a 35, I can probably get up to a 50. The 25 can be up to like a 35 or something like that as well. So I can bump all these lenses up a bit and get the reach that I need. So if you're interested in learning more about these lenses or have any questions, please leave a comment below and I'll try to answer what I can. I know these have been around, but again, they're worthwhile lenses if you're looking to get some lenses. Now, if you're really budget conscious and want to get lenses for, let's say, your Sony, or if you want to get it for your Pyxis, the 7 Artisan lens, those are really nice lenses. I actually bought one just to try it out. It was the 35. They're really light and nice for handheld work. I think they're I think they're fantastic. That's a really great price, and I think those lenses are the cheapest you're going to get for cine lenses for full frame. And it's about, I believe, on and off sale, it's between 350 and like 420 for each lens, which is great, which is really half the price of these on sale, if not more. So something to look into. I'll also leave a little test with that 35 millimeter 7 Artisan lens. Again, it's a choice. If you want to build your lenses, remember your lenses will go with you through different bodies. Your bodies will change over time. So that old saying, you know, marry your lenses, date the bodies, is true. So again, if you want to go with one standardized lens set, if you're only shooting on Sony, but you know you want it to be an E-mount, then that's the kind of lens you might want to look at. But if you're planning on having different cameras at some point and do really love the PL, which I do, then go with this route. I highly recommend it. Again, thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys on the next one.